Hello, everybody. So, today I want to show you a video. It's called Left Brain, Right Brain is a Myth. So, if you want to understand dog culture, you really have to start looking at the brains of dogs and the brains of humans. There is a lot of addiction going on, there is a lot of relying on certain parts of the brain, narcissism, narrow thinking, total lack of perspective, and total lack of empathy from dog owners, especially when it comes to any negative externality, especially the dog attacks on little kids, adults, and everybody else, UPS workers, etc. So, join me in listening to a little bit of this video.
Instead, they saw that both halves worked together to perform tasks.
Okay, so they're talking about the left and right brain. So, I did another video on this, and the left brain of animals, that is the resource part of the brain, the narrow focus, get a resource. And with dogs, we are only utilizing that part of their brain. We're taking apart the wide perspective, we're taking apart the wide focus that all animals have by just giving them rewards all the time.
This is really because most tasks are more complex than they appear on the surface. For example, when you're trying to recognize an object, there are actually a number of different steps going on. The left brain is looking for details, while the right is looking at the overall shape. In
So think about that when you watch a video of one of these dog attacks that keeps happening. Family dog, family dog does this, does that. Toddler is dead, toddler's in critical condition. Dad died from a pack of pit bulls attacking him. Everybody out in society, they do this left brain thing. They focus on the details. They're right there in the neighborhood. They're not looking 2 months ago when all of the shelters started bringing pit bulls in on airplanes from another state. They're not looking at the fact that pit bulls statistically are the ones that are killing people. They do a narrow focus. They're talking about the trainer, what could have triggered the dog. Did the dog have proper care in the house? They're looking at all these fine little details. They're little nerdy little math geeks. And they're not looking at it holistically. They're not using their right brain.
general, the right looks at things more holistically, meaning it takes in the bigger picture, while the left examines the fine print. You cannot say that one or the other is doing the task. They both work together to find the answer.
Yeah, but with dog culture, we're not allowing those parts of the brain to work together. Dog owners, people out in society, the quote unquote trainers, the police officers. Every time one of these dogs kills somebody or causes a crazy accident, kills another dog, they just run up there with all of your community resources, the police, the trainers, all the newscasters, and they sit there and again they say, "We have no idea how this could have happened. We have no clue. We got to do a search. We got to do get a warrant. We're going to do an investigation. Animal control is going to come down here and look at this and look at that. We're going to put the dog into quarantine for 10 days and check for rabies." They have this narrow-minded, just focus on reacting to things and not having this understanding of the world that they live in is being filled with more and more dogs, and at the same time is being filled with more and more attacks on children. And if they did do that, they could actually solve this problem a lot better.
And if we needed any final proof that the left versus right idea is not based on fact, then we have some very extreme examples. It turns
So this is also true with the brain of the dog. Imaging has even proven this. So the left brain, like with an animal that doesn't have a prefrontal lobe, if you have a prefrontal lobe, you can top down control yourself. Like when you're impulsively doing something, if you're eating too much candy, maybe you won't buy candy and put it in your house, etc. But a dog does not have that prefrontal lobe ability to top down control itself. It has to rely on basically pain that it has experienced in its environment, just like an animal, like out in the wilderness. If an animal like a bird or something is eating something, they're narrow focused on eating until until they can get away from that, and then they have a wide focus, so they don't get hurt, they don't get captured, other predators don't get them. But with dogs, we're not allowing that part of their brain to function because we're putting them in our houses, our beds, our couches, our hospitals, restaurants, giving them food, positive reinforcement. So the left side of their brain is being utilized all the time. Just look at how dogs act when you come up on them. They don't step back and have like a quote unquote holistic view. Like, okay, that's not my food. That's not my hand. That's not my couch. I'll sit back and wait. Nope. Dogs run up on us. If we make any little bit of noise, they just come running up on us. They're not using that other part of their brain. And neither are the owners. It's kind of like the monkey sister experiment where they put a little baby with a chimp and the baby started acting like a chimp. Well, dog owners are starting to act just like their dogs. They're not using their brain properly. So the way that we treat dogs in our modern society, it's baby talk. It's constantly saying good boy, like for literally no reason. And this is activating the left side of their brain. Check out this article, I'll put it in the description. But if a dog lived out in the wild, the dog would not hear baby talk or constant little affirming words all the time. The dog would hear affirming noises as it eats and hunts and stuff like that. But the dog is also going to hear and feel stuff that activates the right side of the dog's brain, which is going to tell the dog, okay, don't do certain things. Because the dog does not have a prefrontal lobe. The dog cannot top down control itself. So by doing all of this stuff with these dogs and activating their the left side of their brain, we're putting ourselves at a danger because the dog's right brain is not getting activated, and the right brain of the dog is what the dog needs to be able to look out there and say, okay, that's a toddler, and if I go near toddlers, mom and dad grab me by the collar and they put me outside. Instead, what we do is we take these pit bulls and other dogs, we put them in bedrooms with the kids, put pictures of the dogs all over the place. We brag about all the food that we give to the dog, but that does not activate the dog's memory in any kind of way that makes the dog think, oh, these are my friends. I better not hurt them. It actually does the complete opposite. It makes the dog constantly need more and more resources just to not do something that dogs would normally do. So the left and right brain hemispheres are supposed to work in concert, but with a dog in our modern dog worshiping society, that's not happening. And if you look at humans that are up in this dog worship, it's not happening with them either. So to me, this seems very unhealthy, and it's proven to be unhealthy because just look at dog owners constantly getting killed and maimed by their own family, rescue, adopted. We had it for 8 years and we don't know why it snapped. We gave it all the best food. Giving it all that food means nothing. What you should have been giving that dog is some negative reinforcement, some hard, tight structure that it would have to live in nature, or you just shouldn't have a dog because this thing is a fanged predator that lives in your house.